Hi my lovely viewers. In this video, I'm going to share with you how to stockpile food for imminent war or natural disaster. My name is ST. I'm a Singaporean living in North Sweden. I'm a prepper, forager, and welcome to my channel. A good place to store food for long term, it would be in the basement. If you have a basement where there is storage of things that are unused, so it's better to remove them and use it as a place where you could safely store your food. In my previous video, I shared with you guys how I clear my basement to create this storage place. So if you haven't checked it out, please do so. I'm going to include the link on top so that you too can find out how I did that. If you are staying in an apartment, that could be a little bit tough, but it's still possible if you have a spare room or a storeroom. So try clear everything that you don't need anymore and use it as a storage for food. Secondly, the type of food that you will need. A lot of information on the internet are American based, so those are the food that for Asian like me, we don't eat that kind of food. So it's better to store the food that you will eat. For us, chili is very important, so I make sure that I store enough of that. Noodles is something that we eat more, and rice. So it's good that you know what are the food that you probably might need and will eat.
Instant noodles are quite popular not just among Asian but also among the Swedes. They are easy to prepare but in my opinion a little bit too salty. Canned meat are most popular but they are extremely expensive these days. They are very lasting. Unfortunately, we don't have so much of a choice here in Sweden. There are lots of condiments when it comes to Asian cooking, and there's no need for you to get them all. Get those basic and increase on the quantity. Canned vegetables and mushrooms are also good to have. Most of them are pre-cooked, so you don't have to cook them for a long time. We will face shortage in cooking oil, so make sure you store enough of that. This is ghee. This is a good alternative for butter and margarine. It's used for baking and cooking. It is very lasting. Unfortunately, the price has gone double lately. I'm currently learning how to pickle vegetables. Hopefully, I can do some video to share with you on my next video.
Determine how much food do you need for a day. This is the amount of food that we eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So from there, you have to calculate times the number of people that are in the family. The type of food that you're going to store. Mostly people would recommend canned food because you don't need to cook them. You just need to heat them up. And also food that are not too salty, because if you eat too much salty food, you end up drinking lots of water. During this kind of critical time, water is very valuable, so we try to save as much water as possible. Usually as canned food, food from the jar, fruit from the boxes, like sealed boxes, and also in Sweden we have a lot of tube food. So that kind of food will last much longer. Asian cooking, we use a lot of bamboo shoot, bean sprout, long bean. You can buy all this food now if it's still available, and then try to use water and salt to preserve it so that they could stay a longer time, because over time vegetables will be very expensive. Sometimes they don't even exist, if the country is being invaded for a longer period of time. I noticed that the canned food department, especially the meat department, are quite empty. If you still can get hold of it, try to do that. Not to panic buying, because I think if you are panic buying, you get this one giant trip. Everybody is going to look at you and saying, wow, you are stockpiling, which is not a very good things to do, because your neighbor will start to know, oh my god, she bought a lot of things. So in case we don't have food, we can go and rob them. Try not to attract attention by bit, like every time you go to pass by a store, just go in and get like a few bags of pasta, maybe a couple bags of rice, or a few cans of canned food. If there is a war, there will be like, the store probably will limit your buying, like maximum 1 items per person. Luckily we haven't reached that situation there, so I suggest when you still can buy, try to buy a few, and don't buy too much at one time, because not only you attract attention because it's going to be really expensive, and when you're panicked, you buy stuff that you don't really need. I like to pack everything in boxes, like plastic boxes that will withstand water, and then I label them like, okay, this box is carbohydrate, this box is condiments, this box is my snacks. One thing I noticed recently in the Swedish supermarket, I noticed the food expire date are very close, because they're trying to get rid of the older products, and then they put into the store because they know that people will buy it anyway.
This is how it looks like at the supermarket just across my street. I noticed some of the canned food are gone, and even some noodles and pasta. And when the shelf is empty, they quickly replace it with something else. By doing that, the shopper will be less panicked.
Those food that are quite close to the expiry date, maybe if you have time, do a spreadsheet on all those items in like this kind of book. So you write them like carbo, the pasta, when is it expired, and maybe certain canned food, when is it expired. You try to eat those food that are expired soon first, and you keep all those newer food later. Food is going to be shortage, and people are going to be hungry. So when people are hungry, they will do all kinds of things, to be fed. So it's very smart that you protect your food. If you have a lock, to lock your cabinet, do that. Also, if in case of fire, make sure you have this fire extinguisher and a blanket, in case anything might happen to the storeroom or the cabinet, you can quickly extinguish the fire. For the water flood, it is very important that you keep your food above, the ground. So for me, I keep those like a water tank. Those are really heavy one on the bottom of the shelf because they are being protected already with plastic shield or glass. So I try to put them below because they are heavy. They will sink down. If there is a flood, it doesn't matter because they are well protected. Food like flour and rice, all this, you really don't want them to be wet. So you try to keep them as high as possible. So make sure you have enough cash to buy food. And food is going to be costly. So make sure you have enough money.
Learning how to sprout seeds and beans are what I learned lately. These are chia seeds and flax seeds. I soak them in water overnight and then rinse them in cold running water. Pour them onto some towels so that the water will be absorbed. Spread them evenly, and I'll do the same for my flaxseed. And you want to store them in a dark, cool place for a few days. After one day, this is how it looks like. If the paper towel gets dry, you just need to sprinkle or spray some water on it. After 4 days, this is how it looks like. I should be able to put them in the sun, and this is how it looks like in a few days. I just found out that we can sprout almost any kind of beans or seed, and I'm still learning it. Being an Asian, we eat a lot of sprout. It is not only cheap and is healthy. Kimchi is not only lasting, but it's also a very delicious, healthy food that you need to eat, especially during this rough time. I have made a video earlier on. If you need the recipe, I'm going to include them in the video description. These are the fish that I caught lately. So as you can see, if you know how to forage, you will not go hungry.
If you find that this video is useful, please share them to someone that you love and care about, because this might be helpful for them too. If you like this video, please give a thumbs up, and if you're new, subscribe so that you will not miss my next video. Please stay safe, guys. I hope to see you in my next. Bye bye.